Imagine a world where your most private data isn't stored in the cloud, but under the crushing weight of 4,000 meters of salt water, deep in international waters, where no law applies and no satellite can see. A $500 billion infrastructure is being quietly installed on the ocean floor. It's not a military base, and it's not a research station. It is a submarine citadel, a nuclear-powered fortress of servers that acts as the final vault for the global elite. While we argue about internet privacy on the surface, the real internet has already gone underwater, and the entrance is guarded by 2 miles of darkness and a pressure that would crush a human skull in milliseconds. In 2025, a global telecommunications monitor noticed a phantom pulse coming from a major subsea cable near the mid-Atlantic ridge. For 3 minutes, the data of an entire European bank vanished from the surface grid, only to reappear on a private server 12,000 feet below. This wasn't a glitch. It was a siphon, a high-tech heist, where wealth is being drowned to keep it alive. To understand why the ocean is the ultimate tax haven, you must understand the jurisdictional void. On land, a government can raid a data center. In space, they can track a satellite. But in the abyss, the geography itself is the encryption. Corporations are now deploying titanium modules, self-contained autonomous data centers that are literally dropped into the deepest trenches of our planet. They use the freezing ocean water to cool their massive processors, saving billions in energy. But their primary purpose is silence. If you can't reach the hardware, you can't enforce the law. Meet the Leviathan Nodes. These are parasitic devices attached to the 1.4 million kilometers of fiber optic cables that connect our world. They are bleeding the world's intelligence into these underwater vaults. While we think our encrypted messages are safe, they are being intercepted and processed in the dark, miles below the waves. This is the birth of the Deep Sea Sovereign, a system where the owners of the citadels know the market moves, the political secrets, and the personal data of the surface world before the surface world even acts. What if I told you that 99% of your digital life depends on a wire no thicker than a garden hose, resting on the mud of the seafloor? Now, imagine if someone started building shadow stations next to those wires. In late 2025, a deep-sea drone captured footage of a massive unmarked structure near the Azores. It looked like a luxury hotel, but it had no windows and was surrounded by industrial-grade cooling vents. This is a submarine citadel, the new headquarters for corporations that have officially unplugged from humanity. But here is the shocking part. These citadels aren't empty. We found evidence of hypersaturated habitats, pressurized living quarters for a new class of shadow engineers who live for 6 months at a time under the sea. Their salaries are paid in untraceable tokens, and their contracts include a permanent silence clause. They are the guardians of the abyss, ensuring that the servers never stop humming, even if the world above is on fire. The deeper you go, the darker the truth becomes. In the world of submarine intelligence, there is a directive known as the Leviathan Protocol. It's a fail-safe designed to disconnect the underwater citadels from the terrestrial world at a moment's notice. If a government attempts to seize a coastal landing station, the protocol triggers a localized seismic charge that physically severs the fiber optic link, leaving the data center as an isolated island in the abyss. It is the ultimate delete key, one that requires a deep-sea submersible to recover, making the information effectively untouchable for any conventional police force. But the citadels aren't just isolated vaults. They are part of a larger, more terrifying architecture. We have uncovered evidence of sub-to-sky synchronization. At night, when the ghost satellites we discussed pass over specific calm patches of the ocean, the citadels rise slightly to the surface or deploy signal buoys to broadcast massive bursts of encrypted data directly into orbit. This is the vertical web completed, a closed-loop internet that flows from the mud of the ocean floor to the vacuum of space, bypassing every single human regulation on the surface. They have built a world within our world, and we are just the background noise. Remember the massive internet outages of early 2026? Official reports blame solar flares, but the data tells a different story. Seismic sensors recorded a series of synchronized vibrations along the major subsea cables at the exact moment of the blackout. This was a mass migration, a trillions of dollars transfer of global financial ledgers into the submarine citadels. They weren't fixing the internet. They were evacuating the wealth of the elite before the next phase of the global reset begins. Why should you care about a server in the dark? Because these citadels are the reason your currency is losing value. While the world's central banks print money for the masses, the real assets, the gold-backed tokens and the high-frequency trading algorithms, are being drowned in the abyss. By removing this liquidity from the surface, they create artificial scarcity, driving up prices for everyone else while they trade in a tax-free, law-free paradise 2 miles down. The ocean isn't just a body of water anymore. It's the world's largest, most secretive central bank. As we conclude this investigation, one question remains. Who owns the abyss? The maps tell us the ocean belongs to no one, but the infrastructure tells us it belongs to the sovereign corporations. We are witnessing the birth of a non-terrestrial civilization, one that uses the Earth as a battery and the ocean as a shield. The status 404 we've been seeing isn't an error, it's a choice. They have chosen to disappear, and they have taken the future of the global economy with them. The next time you look at the blue horizon, remember that the most important things in your life, your money, your data, and your secrets, might be resting on the sand in a titanium box. The abyss is no longer empty. It is humming with the power of 1 million servers, waiting for the signal to rewrite reality. The surface world is just a simulation they run while they wait. The deep is online, the surface is legacy. Don't hold your breath.